I was looking forward to our family vacation, the chance to get away from the daily stresses and spend some quality time with my husband, Mark, and our 2 children. We were heading to a beachside resort for a week of relaxation and fun. But there was one thing hanging over me, dampening my excitement: my mother-in-law, Linda. She had a way of making me feel small and inadequate with her constant criticisms and judgmental comments. No matter what I did, she always seemed to find fault with it. I tried not to let it bother me, but it was hard not to take her words to heart. It made me doubt myself as a wife and mother, constantly questioning if I was doing enough or doing things the right way. As we packed up the car and set off on our journey, I couldn't help but feel a knot in my stomach. The closer we got to our destination, the more anxious I became. I just hoped that this vacation would be different. I didn't know yet that this would be a trip that could change my life forever. We arrived at the resort and settled into our beachfront condo. It was beautiful, with stunning views of the ocean and all the amenities we could ask for. The kids were thrilled, eager to hit the beach and explore their new surroundings. As they ran off excitedly, I took a deep breath and turned to Mark. "I hope this will be a good week," I said quietly. He wrapped his arms around me reassuringly. "Don't worry," he said with a smile. "We're going to have an amazing time." I wanted so badly to believe him, but my fears still gnawed at me. The first few days of our vacation went surprisingly well. Linda seemed in good spirits and even made an effort to be friendly towards me. Maybe this trip would be different after all, but then things took a turn for the worse. One afternoon, as we relaxed by the pool, I overheard Linda talking on the phone. She was speaking quietly, but I could make out enough to know that she was gossiping about me. I felt my face flush with embarrassment and anger. How could she be so two-faced, pretending to be nice to my face while tearing me down behind my back? I glanced over at Mark, who was engrossed in a book by the pool. Should I confront Linda? Confront Mark? I didn't know what to do or how to handle the situation. That evening, as we sat down for dinner, I couldn't shake the feeling of resentment that had settled over me. Linda's words continued to echo in my mind, eroding any sense of confidence or self-worth that I had left. As we ate in silence, a family at the table beside us caught my attention. They were laughing and joking, clearly enjoying each other's company. It was like a punch in the gut, a painful reminder of everything that was missing from our own family dynamic. I excused myself from the table and made my way back to our condo. The tears that I had been holding back finally spilled over as all of my emotions came pouring out. I was so lost in my thoughts and emotions that I didn't hear the door open behind me. It wasn't until I felt a hand on my shoulder that I turned around in surprise. It was Linda. She looked at me with concern in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I didn't realize how much my words were hurting you." I wiped away my tears and shrugged. "It's not just your words," I admitted. "It's everything, feeling like nothing I do is ever good enough." Linda nodded sympathetically. "I understand," she said quietly. "I've been there too." We sat down on the couch together, and for the first time, I felt like Linda was really seeing me. She shared her own insecurities and doubts as a mother, admitting that she had often projected them onto me. As we talked, the tension between us began to dissipate, replaced by a newfound understanding and connection. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, giving me the freedom to be vulnerable and honest. And then, in that moment of vulnerability, something unexpected happened. Our eyes met, and there was a spark of something more than just understanding or friendship. It was a shared desire, an unspoken longing. Without saying a word, Linda leaned in closer, her lips brushing against mine in a gentle kiss. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of what was happening or how I should respond. But then I felt the warmth of her touch and all my doubts melted away. Our kisses grew deeper and more passionate as we explored each other's bodies with our hands. It was like nothing I had ever experienced before, an intoxicating blend of desire and forbidden pleasure. Linda's hands traced over my curves with a gentle touch that sent shivers down my spine. I moaned softly as her lips trailed down my neck, leaving a trail of hot kisses in their wake. The world around us faded away as we lost ourselves in the heat of the moment. We slowly undressed each other, taking our time to savor every intimate touch and caress. There was no rush or urgency. It was like time stood still as we focused on nothing but the sensations coursing through our bodies. Linda found her way all over my body, teasing my skin with her tongue into peaks of pleasure. My fingers tangled in her hair as I arched my back in ecstasy, relishing in the overwhelming sensations she was evoking within me. I could feel the heat within growing with each passing second. I wanted nothing more than to feel Linda's touch, to have her fingers exploring the depths of my desire. And as if she could read my mind, she moved down my body, parting my legs with a gentle touch. Her touch sent deliberate strokes down my whole body that sent waves of pleasure radiating through me. I gasped and moaned, unable to contain the overwhelming sensations that were coursing through my body. I could feel myself teetering on the edge of release unlike anything I had ever experienced before. And then it hit me like a tidal wave, washing over me in a torrent of pure ecstasy. As I came down from the peak of pleasure, I looked into Linda's eyes and saw the same fire and passion reflected back at me. Our bodies moved together in perfect rhythm as we both neared the brink of overwhelming emotions once again. And then it happened. We shattered into a million pieces at the same time, our bodies writhing in ecstasy like a tsunami. It was pure bliss, a moment frozen in time where nothing else mattered but our shared pleasure and intimacy. It was like all the tension between us resolved into one extreme moment of pleasure and emotional overfill. We lay there together for what felt like an eternity, our bodies entwined and our hearts racing in sync. There were no words needed, we both knew that something special had just happened between us. As we finally caught our breath and came back down to earth, reality started to set in. What did this mean? Was this just a one-time thing or was there something more between us? And what about our husbands and families? But those were questions for another time. In that moment, all that mattered was being present with each other, savoring every lingering kiss and tender caress as we basked in the afterglow of our shared passion. Our family vacation would never be the same again, but I had a feeling that it was only the beginning of a new and exciting chapter in my life.